I'm Jay Hill, and I'm here with my good friend Dave Rutherford, and we're back for another Dave and Jay show. You know, Dave, when we left off last, we were talking about the SNC scandal, that involved the Prime Minister interfering in our justice system. And since then, we have actually had confirmation of exactly what happened by the Ethics Commissioner, by Mario Dion. And he has now issued this scathing report to the general public, indeed to Parliament, but also to the general public, about just how bad this is. Now, I remember back in, 6 months ago, I sort of had a diatribe that we posted on YouTube, but you haven't had much to say about this.
You're not going to quote yourself, are you, again?
Well, I thought
you're going to quote that. We're going to run clips of that show.
We could.
But what Jay is saying is right, that we were talking about this thing that long ago, and now, because of this, Jay said damning, scathing, this is a terrible indictment of the conduct of this Prime Minister by the Ethics Commissioner. And we think it's a big deal. And we hope that in this election campaign, that this issue is not tamped down by a lot of the virtue signaling kind of stuff this Prime Minister is famous for. You can already see what they're going to do to Conservatives in this campaign. Try to discredit them personally, the homophobic labels, all that dirty stuff is going to come out. Yeah. But we want to make sure that we all, and I mean you guys too, we all understand how serious this is. The Ethics Commissioner, and this is the second Ethics Commissioner, second investigation, not by the same commissioner. Two commissioners have indicted this Prime Minister for violating our ethics laws. And these are laws, Jay. I mean, this stuff is serious. So, Dion, as Jay referenced, the Ethics Commissioner, said this about this whole SNC-Lavalin affair. I think a lot of people are going to say, oh, not again.
Yeah.
Well, SNC-Lavalin. Yeah. I mean, come on, you guys. So, and the Ethics Commissioner said, the office of the Prime Minister and the Prime Minister used his office to circumvent, undermine, those are strong words, and ultimately attempt to discredit the decision of the Director of Public Prosecutions in SNC-Lavalin, which was charged with bribery. Jay, you don't get clearer than that.
No.
Dion heard from all kinds of witnesses. He investigated this thing as best he could, because even he wasn't allowed to see all the documents, was he?
And that's a whole nother aside to this story, Dave, is that he was denied access. This from the Prime Minister, that in the 2015 election, one of his big promises, in criticizing Stephen Harper and the conduct of the former Conservative government, one of his big promises was, I am going to be so transparent.
That's
you can take
right.
that to the bank.
Yeah.
I'm going to be transparent. I'm going to run an honest, ethical government. This is the only Prime Minister that has twice now, as you said, been found in violation of our conflict of interest codes.
And this the way it's described here, this is a criminal offense. Obstructing justice is a criminal offense. And there are several sections of the criminal code that deal with this, including 139, 119. You can look them all up. They're there. And so this is, in fact, a crime that our Prime Minister committed.
Yeah, and not only that, but they covered it up, and he has refused to grant even the Ethics Commissioner adequate access to documents so that he could complete a thorough investigation. So the report he issued was the best he could do with the information he had. And it could have been maybe even more damning.
Absolutely. But he heard from a lot of the key players, too, in this thing. It is reminder about, I think, how these federal liberals operate, Jay.
Yeah.
It's a Quebec-based, friendly sort of environment in which these guys operate. It's inclusive. It is exclusive of all Canadians. It's a small family. It's kind of like, wait a minute, it's like The Sopranos. Remember back in the day, Alberta Report magazine put out a terrific poster of Jean Chrétien during the ad scam scandal. Many of you might have forgotten, but it was an amazing scandal of bribery and money laundering and handing out envelopes full of money in Quebec. The big poster said, the Lebranos, which referred to the family. Hey, the crime family. The whole idea of it.
You can just imagine what they could do now with this.
It's the same thing. Jay, they're doing it again.
Only worse, Dave. I mean, and that's the point that we have to keep drilling home. If I learned nothing else during my 17 years as a member of Parliament, is that that you have to continue, you have to continually reinforce a
that's
message
right.
over and over
Yeah,
and over
that's
again.
exactly
And about the
right.
1000th time that you say something, and when you're sick and tired of saying it, people out in the real world will actually start to listen.
Well, and I think this time of year is difficult for Politicians' Day. You know it. It's over summer. It's the barbecue circuit, etc., etc. So only when people get back to work next month or in October, I think then you and I, because hey, we want the guy out of there. I want the Liberals out of power. We have to keep reminding people, as you say, over and over and over again. The thing is, you got to remember on this one, if the Prime Minister can phone an Attorney General and say, drop the charges, if he can do it for a friend of his in Quebec, he can do it against anybody, including you and me, including all of us. A phone call from the Prime Minister changes everything. Is that how you want your criminal justice system to work? Because it isn't a system then. Then he's one of these Roman emperors. That's the power he would have. He kind of likes that kind of power, doesn't he, though? He likes dictators.
I'm glad I asked you to weigh in
Oh,
on
I'm
this,
sorry,
Dave.
Jay. I took up all the time.
But we're going to come back to this issue,
It is
and we're
so
going to keep
important.
coming back to this issue until Canadians start to reflect it. Next time, I think we'll need to talk about some polls as well,
I think
and
so.
what Canadians are telling the pollsters
Yeah.
on this issue.
I think so, too.
So bye for now. Remember to subscribe. We're back.